Good evening, sharps and squares, degenerates and casual bettors. I'm the Wizard of Odds, Christopher Smith, and this is the SEC Country Gambling Show presented by MyBookie. We're live every Thursday night in Atlanta, Georgia, and on this show we have one purpose and one purpose only, and that's to win you some cold, hard cash. All right, I'm joined like I am every week by my co-host, Steve Petrella, the Sheriff. Steve, how are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. Excited for tonight's action. College football, NFL, and ready to get back on the horse Saturday.
Yeah, it's week 6. I'm just so excited about this football season. Still a lot to go. We got some great SEC games. Let's go ahead and jump right into the week 6 SEC lines, see the matchups that we have this week. And you're looking at this board, and you have nearly 4 games that are double-digit lines in the SEC. Definitely a big separation between the haves and the have-nots. Georgia, once again, a huge road favorite. Auburn, a huge home favorite. Those are my number 3 and number 2 teams in my SEC power rankings. Then in Gainesville, we have a rematch of the Hurricane game from last year. LSU, Joe Alleva, athletic director, kind of forced Florida to play that game in Baton Rouge last year after the Hurricane nonsense happened. Now Florida gets them back-to-back at home in the next 2 years. The fans will definitely be excited for that one. And then Bama, after ripping through Vandy and Ole Miss the last 2 weeks, goes to College Station on the road, 26.5-point favorite for Alabama there. And then Missouri trying to win some sort of game, trying to do something to keep their season, away from just total disaster, going to Kentucky. So those are a look at the games on the board this week. Do you like any of those, Steve?
Yeah, the one I'm particularly interested in is LSU Florida. Like you said, there's the sort of rivalry, like bad blood angle, and then there's both teams are flawed. So I don't know what you think about that game, but that's one I'll be paying close attention to after that line dropped, especially from 3.5 to 2.5.
Yeah, I think it actually opened up with Florida closer to a 6-point favorite early in the week, and now they're down to 2.5. I mentioned the Hurricane angle. That's going to be intriguing to me to see how the players and especially the crowd handles those emotions. Look at LSU. They just lost to Troy. They got crushed by Mississippi State in Starkville. People are calling for Ed Orgeron's job, and Alleva, again, gave Orgeron this huge buyout when Orgeron had no leverage. LSU is stuck with Ed Orgeron for the foreseeable future. They got to figure out a way to fix it. So what did they do 2 days ago? Well, Orgeron and his coordinators had a meeting with Alleva. There was a players-only meeting. There was a meeting with the coaches and the players. There was another players-only meeting. And all that time, I don't know if they had actually time to practice football. They've got to go on the road again. All this stuff is going on behind the scenes there. The media's getting on them. Edo isn't quite like Butch Jones, but he is a little worried about what people are starting to say about him now. Mm-hmm. His coach's show last night on the radio went off the rails a little bit. I don't know if LSU is going to be very focused going into this game. And I know Florida's got issues. Look, they lost Luke Del Rio for the year last week. Tyree Cleveland's now out. They're still without arguably their top running back and their top receiver and their top defensive back. Florida's hurting right now, but LSU may be hurting even more. All they can do is hope they can run the ball, and that's really all they have. And so for that reason, I don't really like either of these teams, but I'm putting my money on the Florida Gators. I think LSU's in a world of trouble right now. Too much going on. I'm betting on Florida.
All right. Another one, you mentioned Bama earlier in the show, ripping through Vanderbilt and Ole Miss as 3 touchdown or more favorites. They're now 3-2 against the spread on the year, but plus 56 against the number. That's in the last 2 weeks. So this Bama team's going into Texas A&M as another huge favorite. I don't know what to make of this game.
Yeah, I mean, Alabama toys with SEC opponents at this point. I think Auburn may be the one team that can maybe give them a really good game. But this line has gone up about 14.5 points since it was first made during the summer. It was about a 12-point line when the best bets came out this summer. And I think also you have to weigh these Alabama games based on how angry is Nick Saban going to be. Against Vandy, you had a player on Vanderbilt's defensive line that was sort of talking a little trash entering the game. And Saban loves to squash those up-and-coming SEC teams to put them back in their place and show them you've still got a long way to go. And, of course, Ole Miss last week. We all know about the Hugh Freeze saga and all their recruiting and NCAA problems. Ole Miss won 2 out of the last 3 games there. Last year, Alabama won a close game and had to come back on Ole Miss. He wanted to send Ole Miss a message and maybe some punishment for what had gone on there the last 3 weeks. he usually is pretty nice to coaches that are either non-conference teams or coaches that are on the hot seat that he knows he's better than. I see him going into College Station not wanting to demolish and destroy as he did against the last opponents. I think he'll have a little bit more mercy on Texas A&M. You also look at Texas A&M, and what do they like as a football team? They can run the football, including at quarterback, and they have 3 really good running backs, including what I think may be the best running back in the SEC in Travion Williams. And on defense, they're pretty good against the run. They're actually second in the SEC in rushing yards allowed per game on defense. And I think that will allow them to keep in the game a little bit. I think their passing defense is terrible. So Jalen Hurts, as efficient as he's going to be, or has been this season, can finally show some more critics like, look, he can throw the ball downfield. And I think on the other side of the ball, Kellen Mond and A&M have not been able to throw downfield at all. I know they have Christian Kirk, very dynamic player. But once A&M gets down, they're going to have real trouble competing with this Alabama team. But I think they're going to be able to run the ball a little bit. I think they're going to be able to not stop Alabama's run, but at least be somewhat competitive at times against Alabama's running game. And for that reason, I think the back door is wide open in this game as well. If Alabama gets up 31, A&M could easily score a late touchdown on the backups. So for a lot of different reasons, I just think this line's gotten too high after the last 2 blowouts. So I don't think A&M is going to come close to winning the game. But I like them against the 26.5-point number, so I'm betting on A&M here.
All right. So you got to understand, they don't have to win the game. They just need to lose by 26 or less.
26.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Last one is Arkansas, South Carolina. Sort of teams in, I don't know if they're similar spots in some ways, very different in others. Brett Bielema, he needs a win, doesn't he?
Bielema definitely needs a win. I know Arkansas's athletic department really likes him. I don't know if you could say that he's legitimately in danger of getting fired immediately. He's got a big buyout as well. He's done a lot of good things to that program. But at some point at Arkansas, you're going to have to win some games. It's a tough job. You're in a tough division. But you cannot just rely on the fact that you're Arkansas or that the program was in a bad spot when you took over. At some point, you got to win some games. So I'm not saying that losing to South Carolina here is going to cost him his job or anything like that. But it's another notch in the belt moving in that direction if he continues this. Yeah. You mentioned the Arkansas and South Carolina being similar. I think the way that they're similar is at the line of scrimmage. Arkansas and South Carolina have struggled on both sides of the ball at the line of scrimmage, especially on offensive line. Both of these teams on offensive line have really struggled. And I think we have great quarterbacks in this game. And Austin Allen could be the best passer in the SEC right now. Jake Bentley is one of the best playmakers, the most dynamic maybe of the sort of scramble to throw, not necessarily scramble to run. And I really like both those guys, but they don't have time. Their offenses are very limited in what they can do because of the offensive lines. And so, South Carolina at home, they've hung tough. They hung tough with A&M last week. They hung tough for a while with Kentucky, but they haven't been nearly as good since they lost Deebo Samuel. That was a huge hit to them. They've had some injuries on defense as well. Arkansas as well, they just lost their best receiver in Jared Cornelius recently for the year. So not the most exciting game in terms of talent. Both of these teams got to be thinking, hey, look, finally an SEC team at the line of scrimmage isn't going to bulldoze me. Maybe I have a chance here. South Carolina at home, for me personally, it's a pass from a gambling standpoint. I would not advise you guys to put down money on this game. But if I have to give a lean, I'm just going to go ahead and lean to the home team, South Carolina. I think Arkansas just is not a very good team right now. Will Muschamp can put together a good game plan to exploit their weaknesses. I'm not betting on it, but if I have to force a lean, the sheriff puts a gun to my head, I'm going with South Carolina with a lean.
All right. We've talked about all these games, but of course we got to get the money down somewhere. And that place for us is mybookie.ag. Use the promo code SECWizard and they will double your deposit. Literally free money. And it's just a great book to bet at. We both use it and we both love it.
Yeah, Steve's won so much money that he's headed to Hawaii right after the show. He's got a Hawaiian shirt on. He's going to be saying aloha with MyBookie's bonus SEC Wizard promo code. He's used this. Go to mybookie.ag, use SEC Wizard as the promo code, and they'll match up 100% of your deposit. And as for me, I'm trading in this business is higher. I'm, looking more of a wizard-like, adding to this hat with some more outfit stuff. I'm waiting until, because I've just won so much money that I've got to continue to cash in and do more work to put more money down on MyBookie. Yeah. So I'm waiting until after the season, and then I'm going to go join you in Hawaii.
Yeah, no time for a day job. Let's get rid of that. It's stupid. Any other games that you like this week that you think are viewers need to get on as well.
Yeah, there's this team called Missouri Tigers, and Barry Odom.
Their team.
It's their team, kinda. Their team.
Football team.
They're scary, but look, they're the worst team in the SEC, and it's not even close right now. They lost to Auburn 51-14 the last time out. The time before that, they got destroyed by Purdue. I think it was 35-3. Both of those games were at home. Now they've got to go on the road to a team that's 4-1 and is also in the SEC. But when I saw this line earlier in the week, it was 13.5. And I think Missouri's offense started to get some things going against Auburn. Auburn has a top 5 defense in the country right now. And so for Missouri to score 14 points and start to move the ball a little bit and figure some things out, I think people are not giving them credit because they just assume, well, Missouri's been terrible. They lost big again. They've had a bye week before this game. It's a good spot for them to try to figure some things out. Barry Odom gave some passionate, emotional speeches, and I don't think the team's given up on them yet. I was wondering about that when they lost to Purdue. But I think they're going to come out and play really hard in this game, and this is sort of one of their last stands before they just decide at Missouri that Odom's lost the team. And, I mean, it's down to 10 now. I got the line when it was 13.5. But I just think Kentucky has played one-possession games against Southern Miss, Eastern Michigan. It was close against Eastern Kentucky before they pulled away late. And I think those games are all at home. They got up for the Florida game because of the streak, and they're trying to end 30 years of losing to the Gators. They ended up blowing that game at the end, too. I just don't think this is a good Kentucky team. I think they have a soft schedule, and I think they may end up winning 7 games or so just because of that. But don't be surprised if Missouri's hanging around in the fourth quarter in this one. So I definitely like Missouri. I got them 13.5. I don't know if I like the value at 10, but I do like Missouri.
Yeah, sometimes the bets that seem the hardest to swallow are the best ones to make. So don't be afraid, folks. Zoo Tigers.
Yeah, that's true. I mentioned the South Carolina-Arkansas game, and I told you guys I think it's a pass, and I have a strong opinion, but this may change your mind. We have a guy in this building. We go to him every week. He gives us the lock of the week. There's somebody looking in the window right now. I see outside right now, hoping that they can find out what the pick is this week. He's won 3 in a row. He's on a heater. He's going for 4 consecutive locks of the week. And I'm not telling you to mortgage your house or anything like that, but scrape up all the Lincolns you can find, Andrew Jacksons maybe, the Benjamins you can find. Throw them all on this pick because the lock of the week is going for 4 in a row. Why don't we go to our mystery man now and he can tell us where we should be putting our money down this week.
3, 2, 1. Lock of the week.
Woo Pig, Arkansas Razorbacks.
Lock of the week.
Woo Pig
Woo
it
Pig!
is.
Woo Pig!
Woo Pig, guys.
Woo Pig.
Woo Pig. If he brings in more money,
Pig.
Woo Pig all the way. Yeah, I'll be calling the Hogs all weekend if the lock of the week cashes again. 4 consecutive weeks.
That's pretty wild.
You can go to Vegas all you want, but my bookie and our lock of the week, that's what's going to get you money every single week.
Yeah, doesn't lose.
Yeah. So, I mean, we might as well end it there so you guys can hurry and go place that bet. You can check out some of my picks here for this weekend. Some of the SEC games we talked about already. I do like NC State tonight if you're catching this game. Kickoff may have just started around the time this show happened, so you may not be able to get that line anymore. There's a lot of games on here that I like, including another big underdog in Illinois. Missouri and Illinois, dangerous to bet on those 2 teams. I'm living on the wild side this weekend. I think that's pretty much all I have for you guys this week. I'll let you guys run to the bank, get some money. You run to mybookie.ag, deposit it.
Promo code SEC Wizard.
And the thing about Missouri and Illinois and all these teams is good teams will win, but what do great teams do, Steve?
They cover.
Great teams cover.
They sure
and
do.
if they cover this weekend, they're going to be a great team in my book.
Yep, absolutely.
So good luck this weekend on your bets. God bless America, and we'll see you next week.